What's up, world? Carl Shepard here, checking in for episode 32 of my Sober October 2019 Video Diary Challenge. Today, very well, maybe an edited day. I was gonna try to get started on a video right now. However, I should probably incorporate some stuff from tonight as well. Just if not for the fun of it, then just for the memory, or just because it's relevant to my day today. I am on the road headed to my son's Halloween event at the Spanish immersion school that he goes to for half a day. I have Felix with me, behind me, in his car seat, and I don't plan on working out today. I'm going to do some stretching and some just really light, calisthenic type muscle activation stuff at home. And that's it. I'm going to drink some good water and really just focus on having a recovery day and focusing on my family. So this is a good time to speak on humility and image. Ever since the spring up of social media and of this kind of cultural revolution where we're a lot more visible, we're a lot more connected on a real-time level to everyone else. Most people, pretty much everybody, has adopted this mindset or this way of being where they're constantly trying to climb these ladders, these hierarchies, in whatever way that they deem appropriate, if it's career, if it's athleticism, if it's social standing, political, whatever, and they all revolve around looking like you have your shit together, or what is it? Developing this image where you've got your plan figured out, and you have no vulnerabilities, you have no blind spots, and you're living this perfect life, or you have conquered your element. You're living inside of some big structure that you've created, and you're so well thought out and put together. And I really kind of feel like that's dangerous, because it, number one, creates this weird feedback loop of unrealistic expectation, and I believe it also stifles personal growth, because you're not being honest. You're not being real with yourself or with your community. It would be really cool if we could live in a community, if I could find a community, or if I could live amongst people who were actually capable of talking about their struggles in a real way. But I don't personally, at least. If you do, contact me, because I would like to hear from you on that one. But I don't. And what I find is people that are just constantly trying to shift any kind of blame or responsibility outside themselves, even when it is just sitting directly in their lap. What I find are people that absolutely have to maintain this image of their self that they would like to be. They have to wear that mask or put that facade on, and I don't get it. I don't feel like it's working. I don't feel like it's working on a social level. I feel like that it just creates some sort of weird dynamic where you have to be guarded at all times. You have to transact with people rather than interact with people. And I don't like that. That's not how I do business. I like to develop relationships. I like to develop trust, and I like to, develop relationships. I like to develop relationships. I like to develop trust, and I like to develop relationships. I like to develop trust, and I like to develop relationships. I like to develop trust, and I like to develop relationships. I like to develop trust, and I like to develop relationships. I like to develop trust, and I like to develop relationships. I like to develop trust, and I like to develop relationships. I like to develop trust, and I like to develop relationships. I like to develop trust, and I like to develop relationships. I like to develop trust, and I like to develop relationships. I like to develop trust, and I like to develop relationships. I like to develop trust, and I like to develop relationships. I like to develop trust, and I like to develop relationships. I like to develop trust, and I like to develop relationships. I like to develop trust, and I like to develop relationships. I like to develop trust, and I like to develop relationships. I like to develop trust, and I like to be honest enough to develop mutual consistency, to be predictable. I would like to develop relationships where people can predict me. They can know what they can or cannot get out of me, and I know what I can or cannot get out of them, and there's no like weird gray area, and there's no like battle to see who's going to come out on top. And I guess that in itself must be an unrealistic expectation of mine. However, I guess I just wish that were the case, or I would like to try to move the needle in that direction. I don't actually expect that. So, boom. And I guess the reason that all this is coming to my mind is because it's important to be able to project yourself in many different ways depending on the situation's requirements. I consider myself to be a very serious person. I think about things deeply. I calculate. But I care about being a well-rounded person. I want to get over myself in a certain way and be able to exist inside of many different circumstances, not just the ones that are inherently comfortable to my baseline self. Years ago, if you would have told me that I was going to go have my kid in some kind of Spanish-speaking daycare, and that upon the request of some kind of Halloween celebration that you'd catch me putting myself out there on video in a panda costume and showing up in front of a whole bunch of people, shaking my little tail waggle and having some ears on or whatever, I would have been pretty confused. I probably, I'd have said, well, that's good luck with that one. It just would have never, no one would ever have, put me on that, because I was too tough, I was too proud, I had way too much pride. I thought that, the identity that I was crafting in that moment was just so authentic and real and like necessary for my existence, that to kind of project in any other way would be like inauthentic or something. Now it's just so much different. It's hard to even really kind of link those two together. If someone only has one dynamic to their personality, or it's like, oh, this is, that's just who that person is or whatever, all that shows me is that they are not living an examined life. They do not care about personal relationships, and that they're actually very insecure. That's the thing, is that I thought I was extremely secure, and I was so secure that I could just maintain this like hard exterior and just be real serious. I mean, in the moment when you're like that, it makes perfect sense to you, but now I can't even talk about it without sounding, I feel like it just doesn't even sound right. Being secure is being able to adapt to any situation, and to be able to, it's kind of like water. Water freezes when it needs to, and it liquefies when it needs to, and it turns to gas when it needs to. Well, some situations require humor, and other situations require strength. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just all one thing. You can't use one mode to conquer every situation. I mean, you can try, but what do you want to do? You want to go around intimidating everybody all the time? Like, is that the best strategy? Really, is just to be your one personality type, your one game. You got one mode, and that's just just all you know, and that's just what everybody's got to deal with. And if they can't handle you, then it's their problem. That's a trap. You know, that is not going to get somebody very far. And so now, having seen that a while back, I started putting myself in situations that kind of destroyed that image, or it kind of allowed me to just humble myself and to try some different stuff. And now it's free. Now I love it. Now it's like, wait a second, is that Carl over there in a panda costume? What is he doing? And to the people that are still on that lower level, they discredit me or whatever. I can see it in their eyes, their body language changes, and it's just like, oh, this dude ain't really about shit. He's not serious. Well, those people aren't going to watch these videos, but let me tell you what, people, I'm serious. I am dead serious. But the thing is that to bring that seriousness out in me, it requires a lot these days, because there's just not that much that can shake me. There's not that. When you have this kind of freedom and you don't care what other people think, or you're not trying to live up to some totally unrealistic image, and you're more interested in developing these personal relationships and being a well-rounded person, and you don't care about image, then you're way more secure. And when you're that secure, there's almost nothing that can take that away from you. And so then the need to actually get serious with somebody, do the rooster up, or to prove yourself, the need to prove yourself, it especially in modern society where nobody actually really gets that serious anyway, it just evaporates. Somebody tries to step on me or harm my family or do something, victimize us in some way, they're going to figure out how serious I am real quick. If I'm in a panda outfit, or if I'm asleep in my bed, or what, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I can, I'll go to 110 real quick. But that doesn't mean I've got to live my life on that trigger's edge, does it? Like, that's what I talked about PTSD in my last episode. That's what PTSD is when you're so hardcore wired to blow or to get violent or whatever, that you just live your whole life just right on the razor's edge of being there, and every little thing you got to calculate it through, like, all right, is that enough to punch somebody in the face? Those people are insecure. Those people are the ones that need to take a chill pill, and when I first realized all this, I was kind of like that. I was definitely kind of like that. And I started really trying to focus on tiny little steps I could take to break that down, because that's a tough wall to tear down. And that's where the cannabis, that's where the marijuana did come in. I'm not gonna lie at all. That helped, because I was able to shake off things that would have otherwise really been problematic for me. It would have been difficult for me to deal with. But the marijuana, I just said, you know what? Is that really something to go, is that really something to go off about? And, when you're high, it's like, well, almost nothing is. But that can go in the opposite direction. It started, during that time where I was smoking, it really did pull me so far in the opposite direction that I wasn't even defending myself, or I wasn't even, like, confronting when it was necessary in some situations. And so there's a balance there, and I'm finding it right now. And I'm, it's hard. It's not like I'm just gonna ever be perfect, because nobody is, but that's the point of this whole video. Anybody that tries to put themselves up like they're some kind of role model, but I don't know, it's tough. It's like, to be a role model these days is to show vulnerability. That's where we are. Back in the day when the world was just way more hardcore and difficult, and you only saw people in person, and everything was just way different, then projecting some kind of image was important like that. It was, I'm not going to say that, I'm not going to try to compare the the present to the past. In the past, that was one thing, and I see why it developed that way. But we got to squash that now. Right now, we've got to move on to this other thing, and that's what I'm up to. I'm trying to figure it out. If I can figure it out well enough to articulate it in less than all these words I'm going through now, then maybe I can help some people. So, yeah. Anyway, so I'm getting pretty close to being there, and I'm already at 15 minutes, and so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to try to see about getting some video inside this little event, and I'm going to see about getting some video of my son being excited for Halloween, and get some video for all these different things, and then hopefully we'll go there. So 3, 2, 1, the rest of the video.
Here's Leon at the Spanish school passing out some trick-or-treats to his classmates. Here's him participating in some of the events. He didn't wear his hot dog costume the whole party, but he wore it a lot of the time. We had some fun taking some pictures. Here's our decorations, the pumpkin reaper and the spider webs with the spider and one that jumps out at you. Little fog machine over in the corner we hadn't turned on at this point, but after it got dark, that was pretty cool. And then some trick-or-treating fun. They have a s'mores station. There was a haunted garage on the other side of the neighborhood. We only made it through one big lap of the neighborhood, not both, because it got really cold. Leon was done, and we had a full bag of candy, or pretty close, and he had a really good time. He was a lot more brave than the year before, and I think he's probably going to have some memories from this one, and that's really exciting. So it got to the point where it was getting so cold that people weren't wanting to answer the door. They were just putting the candy out and saying, "Take one." And we had left a big bowl of candy on our front porch while we did our own trick-or-treating. Here's some security cam footage of some kids playing with the spider. The webbing was right in the way of the spider, so you can't quite see it, but there's a funny clip coming up where you'll notice it. That's another view of another cam. Here's me passing some more candy out. That's actually the jiu-jitsu crew that came by and said, "Hey." That was really cool to see them. Here we go. Listen to this. That's that little kid. His brother reprimanded the spider. That's a good big brother right there. His littler brother got scared by the spider, and he told him what was up. That's really cool. Here's Leon passing out some candy. He really got a kick out of that. What a fun night. And finally, here's me and my honey and her with our 2 beautiful sons. What a fun night. And I'll finish here. Bye-bye.